Good evening and welcome. Today is Wednesday, March the 15th, 2023, and this is the City of Anderson Board of Architectural Review. First item on the agenda, addenda. Anything to add, Chris?
No, sir, not at this time.
Very good. Then let me officially, on behalf of the board, welcome you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to working with you.
Thank you, sir.
And Maurice is just so reluctantly leaving us.
I'll continue to show up because I'll miss you so much.
That's right. And we appreciate all you've done for us along the way. All right, Chris, we'll jump right into the first public hearings, BAR 23-9. For you, sir.
Thank you. Hold on just a minute. So I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, we have a little bit of a mix-up with the order.
Okay.
The first one is going to be, well, no, I'm sorry, it's not a mix-up. My apologies. It's BAR 23-9, the request for a new sign on Whitner Street. The site is located in red. As you can see right at the top of your screen, that little rectangle, red rectangle, and Whitner Street is running right there in front of it, sort of diagonally across the top of your screen. Down through the middle, you'll see South Main Street. Does anybody have any questions? And everybody know where we are? Mm-hmm. Good. The applicant is proposing to add a sign to their new business location. They're relocating from Main Street to Whitner Street, and the sign will match, or the material will be very similar to the sign for Electric City Pizza that's shown in front of you now. There you can see the building that they're proposing. It's the one in the middle, and the proposed sign and sign location here. You can see the dimensions listed are 4 foot by 10 foot. And that concludes staff's presentation. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Certainly. Is the applicant present tonight?
I thought she was going to be present. It was my understanding she was going to be present, but she doesn't seem to be here.
Right. I had a question regarding the background in yellow. Stands out a little bit more from the building being white. Guidelines indicating, compatible with the building itself. And that was my first thought, that if the background were white, even keeping the rest of the colors, it might meet those guidelines. Suggestions as to compatibility. Comments, thoughts, concerns?
It does steam in with the character of the bar and grill, even though it is a change to, it stands out off the front of the building. But it themes into that style of restaurant.
Other comments?
I wonder, looking at where it is now, or similar to that, which it's cut out, and of course that's shown on a gray building. In this, it looks like they pasted it in there. Do you see that? That it's going to be cut out, I believe?
I don't know that we
Do you
actually
see
know
what I'm
that for
saying?
sure, whether anything's routed or if there's any texture, or if this is...
Again, the reference the applicant has made is to the Electric City Pizza sign. I am not sure if that's routed or just an applied material. But the reference is that it would be very similar to that sign.
If we go back to the other, I'll see what I mean. There's white above it, like they cut it out of a picture they had
Yes,
taken of it. So I believe it will be
It would actually follow the
top.
letters.
Yes,
Yeah.
the top of it would. And I think that would make it sort of not quite so large in area and visually.
It appears this is diagrammed as best we can tell as to scale.
Yes, sir. It's supposed to be to scale. And my apologies. Yeah, it's going to be cut around the letters. It's not going to be on a panel, so to speak, and applied. But as you see it, it would be cut out and added to mounted on the facade of the building.
Which also is very, in the whole space, it seems like it's taking up it seems almost too large to scale.
That's my concern on the scale, not working within the square aspects of that. Billy, you can address this. You were familiar with.
I mean, to your point earlier, I think if the background were white instead of that pale color, it wouldn't seem as large. And scale-wise, I think would bring the scale down if there were more white.
It's unfortunate the applicant's not here. I mean, that's why we encourage them to attend, to address any concerns that we have so we can move forward.
Does it meet the signage square footage requirements for the city?
Yes, sir, it
Yeah,
does.
okay. And do we know the thickness of the material? Is it like a 3
No,
inch?
sir, I do not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm familiar with the material. It almost looks like a wood, like a slab of wood that they will route out these letters and patterns, but I mean, just assuming it's going to look a certain way without more information is kind of a dangerous thing to do, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
So is it lit from behind?
No, ma'am, not to my knowledge. Again, I'm not the applicant, but
Right.
there was nothing in the application regarding lighting.
Can you show a picture of the old sign on their old location on Main Street?
That's Electric City Pizza. It's not moving. They're just using that as a
They're
reference.
just using that as a reference. Okay.
I can pull this sign up, which is the sign that they keep referencing, which is the Electric City Pizza sign. I'll zoom in, but it pixelates pretty quickly.
It looks like they cut letters out and put them on like a plywood surface or some type of surface.
I think that's routed out as well. I think it's a solid piece, just routed and painted.
We were emailed a reference of a sign material that was used from some other buildings. Was that in regard to this sign?
No, sir, it was not. It was the other two signs that are on
Okay.
your agenda. I'm sorry, there's one other sign.
You know, unfortunately, the application doesn't have
Right.
the specificity regarding the materials. Simply saying similar to leaves a lot of questions in our mind.
And how is it lit?
Well, it doesn't indicate this being
Right.
lit at all.
That's one of the questions.
We could approve, we could disapprove, or we could move the table and leave the application open for further information from the applicant.
I make a motion that we table it until we have more information on the exact construction of the sign.
Motion from Bill, is there a second? From Andy? Anything further? All in favor? Okay, we'll table this, we'll leave the application open for
Yes, sir.
next month or whenever the applicant can be here. And if you would just share with them our questions so that they'd be prepared for that next time before us.
Yes, sir, you got it.
Thank you. And we'll move on now to BAR 2310.
Okay, this is, the applicant is requesting the addition of a 9 by 19, is requesting to add a 9 by 19 addition to the garage structure. So you can see here Boulevard is running diagonally across your screen, and the site is in red. This is a single-family residence. I'll zoom in further. Behind the house, you can see it's connected by a breezeway, but you can see the garage, and that's the building that the addition will be added onto. I only point that out so that you know that it is behind the residence. The applicant is also planning to relocate one of the iron windows onto the addition. It would be the iron window, it would be the window that faces the sort of interior courtyard, with the other two being similar to the windows that are on the structure. But they are relocating the one existing window. So here you can see the residence. as viewed from Boulevard. So this is the back of the residence on your right, and the building, the garage is right in front of you. Where those chairs are and those, looks like a potting bench maybe, that's where that building would come, the addition would come in, and that window there, sort of center of your screen, would be relocated to the right-hand facade. Just another picture of the back of the residence. The garage is off to your left. So again, this is a site plan. You can see where the addition is proposed. Okay, plans for the addition. Again, you see on that lower side was the relocated window with the the new windows to match that on the back side of the addition. Here's a roof plan. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, sir. I would note, I'm pleased to see the reuse of the older window, and the detailed plans indicate the specificity regarding the new windows being compatible, not in totally material, but certainly in the looks. Looks good. Thoughts, comments?
And you absolutely cannot see that from riding down Highland Avenue. And I think, if anything, it'll improve the looks.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I think it's important to note that the plans do indicate that the exterior color and the roof, the color of the facade will all match the existing.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, Jill, we have a motion to approve from Jill, second from Amanda. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. Move on now to BAR 2311.
Okay, this is Upstate Hope, and it's a back courtyard where people gather. You can see here the site is outlined in red. Main Street is off to the right side of your screen, and you can see Benson Street and Tower Street. Does everybody know where we are? Okay, good. So the applicant is requesting to remove and replace an awning, a canopy over the courtyard, and add or replace a door into the courtyard. They have approval from the building owner. This is the courtyard in question. You can see that canopy there in the middle of your screen, not the one to the left, the one in the middle. They will be removing it, and the canopy will extend from the building wing on your left all the way over to the building wing on your right. So here's another view of that. This is the elevation that does face Main Street. There's a vacant lot and a parking lot in front of it, between it and Main Street. So staff is recommending that the canopy go, instead of where it is, go above the windows. And looking across the street, you can see where they've done the very same thing here. And just a detail there. So here's the plan that the applicant is proposing. I'm sorry, they are asking to relocate that existing fence out a little bit. But you can see the new awning between the two wings, and the door is in the right corner, the back right corner, that's being proposed to be replaced. So you can see here, there's the new glass door entry that they're requesting. Just some awning details. And that staff had requested that the door be bronze or black to match the existing window trim, and the applicant did agree. I think the applicant agreed, but he did. They did. But that concludes staff's presentation.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Now, you indicated staff is recommending the canopy be above the windows.
That was our intention. I didn't put that in there with my mistake.
Quite all right. That's wonderful to hear. That's a good recommendation from staff. Try to cover some of those areas in advance. Next question I've got regarding the fencing. This is just a recreation area, is that correct?
We're Hope Missions of the upstate. We serve the homeless population and those suffering from deep poverty in our city. What the fencing allows us to do is to have a safe place for them to congregate in the morning when we do our breakfast. We serve breakfast Monday through Saturday. My concern is that we are serving about 90 people a day now, and there's not enough space for them to safely congregate.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to just kind of bump that out.
You know, I mean, fencing in the area certainly makes sense. It's the chain link that we may have some issue with.
So it's black.
A chain link is specifically prohibited by the guidelines. Now, I believe we could also, you could easily do some aluminum fencing, which we've approved.
Is that barbed wire on top of those set of gates?
So this is the existing fence.
Yes.
Some of it has barbed wire. I removed all the other barbed wire that's in there. And the proposal, or what we plan on doing is just putting, it's a 6-foot fence with just steel cable, just not actual barbed wire, but just something to prevent people, or at least deter people from jumping across the fence.
Thoughts, comments? First, regarding the canopy. Going across, any concerns?
No concerns with that.
Seems to make
As long as
sense.
it's above the windows.
Right. Yep. And the door being bronze color makes sense. So the next issue, remaining issue, is the fencing.
We've turned down fencing that was not wood or aluminum, see-through. And chain link is against our guidelines.
Was your plan to reuse any of this fence or to buy new fencing?
We're actually, I wanted to reuse it, but the guy that came out to actually do the fencing would rather use new materials so that,
Right.
so that it can be tight and look a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So we certainly agreed with that.
But I mean, I think as we found the aluminum fencing, there's some of that, there's not that much difference in cost, is it?
I don't think so. I mean, they've made it a lot more accessible and affordable. But we have never approved this in the past.
And if the aluminum fencing has,
Microphone.
oh, I'm sorry, if the aluminum fencing has points or something on the top, that would be a deterrent to somebody trying to climb over it as well.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, so if they had the aluminum picket fence, would that be more acceptable?
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
I didn't realize that was an issue. I thought it was existing. We were just relocating existing, but
No, aluminum picket would be very acceptable. We'd appreciate the modification to your application.
that sounds good to me.
Excellent. Sounds great to us. With that, any other concerns?
The color on the
Oh.
fencing,
The color on the fencing? Black.
black. Yep.
All right, is there a motion to approve? We have a motion from Andy, second from Mary Lou. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you working with us. And appreciate what you're doing for the community.
Yep.
We're blessed as much as anyone.
Thank you. Now on to BAR 2312.
Thank you. Okay, going back to Boulevard, this is actually the adjacent lot. So again, we looked at the one at the corner of East Highland and North Boulevard, which is sort of top middle left. This site is outlined in red, again, and is adjacent to it. You will note, or when we see the pictures, there's a hedge in front, a tall ligustrum hedge. It must be at least maybe 8 foot tall, 6 to 8 foot tall.
Getting there.
That completely screens the house. Does everybody know where we are or have any questions? Okay, great. So the applicant is requesting the addition of a garden shed to the back. It's a prefabricated structure. We'll see a picture of it in a minute. The applicant also states that the shed will be completely screened from the road. So this is the house, or a picture of the house and the hedge from North Boulevard. That's the entrance there to the building. The applicant is requesting that the shed be put back behind those shrubs that you can see at the end, and we'll see a plan sort of locating this in a minute. Well, we'll see it right now. So this is the driveway on the right-hand side, and you can see the shed in the upper right-hand corner with an arrow to it, the shed location. And this is the proposed prefab shed. And that concludes staff's presentation. If there are questions, I'm happy.
And is the applicant present?
Yes, sir, he is.
Great. Question. When you've indicated it's back behind shrubs, from the photo, there's, right after the driveway, some lower shrubs, and then there's appear to be some taller shrubs further back that may be the property line. Behind which shrubs are we talking?
We're actually talking, I guess I didn't hand draw that very good, because in this picture you can only see the end of the driveway.
Right.
This is actually like an acre and a half, so there's actually a guest house behind the main house. And we're talking about putting the shed in the very far corner right of the property line behind 2 large holly trees. So it would be completely blocked out, so you couldn't hardly even see it when you're walking around in the yard, because, it's not, it's more something to, store tools and wheelbarrows and that type of thing in it. And so you see in the corner here, it's going to be, see where all you can't even really see it. Is that Boulevard on the top there?
On the right-hand side is Boulevard.
Yeah, so we're talking about putting the shed at the bottom, on the left-hand side, on the very bottom, all the way to the property line. So you have all these trees and bushes before Boulevard even being able to see back there. You can't even see where it's going to go in that picture. It's
Super. Well, that helps with the location, but of course, as we've experienced throughout our years of doing this, the fact that it can't be seen is an issue, but that doesn't negate guidelines, requirements. And the shed, as indicated in the guidelines presented by staff, needs to be of a similar character and materials compatible with the home itself. Other sheds that have come before us, specifically indicating to be the same color of the home, if not the same material, roofing as well, and this doesn't match any of that. I'll open it to comments and questions.
You pretty much said it clearly right there. It doesn't match up with the house. And if the shed had a roof same color as the house and the exterior of the shed was painted to match the house, it would be closer. But it's,
do I need to build, so then I need to build like a brick building then to be the same, or it just needs to be white to match the house? I'm lost.
Billy, go ahead.
Is there siding anywhere on the house currently? It's all brick?
Just a brick house.
I mean, I think siding would be compatible historically with a brick house, but I think the color would be an issue. So no, I don't think you would need to build a brick shed. I think modifications could be made to this shed to be compatible with your house, just in respect to the colors primarily.
Yeah, I guess I just don't see it, because to me, it's like to have a bright, or have a white shed, it's gonna be seen more than a wood color shed, I guess, is where I'm lost. I mean, I'm not on it.
Sure.
To me, it's like, I feel like that's gonna be seen more than a wooden shed.
Well, and you have a guest house in the back,
I
which is
do.
brick, right? And it's
Right, yeah,
pretty
the
much,
original owner built the guest house and the house.
and isn't it pretty much the same shape? And, I mean, isn't it just a rectangular, but it's white
correct,
brick?
yeah.
And that's before the trees, but I know, I think almost all of us live in historic districts with a lot of trees, and all of us have experienced trees form a hedge or that cover it, and then all of a sudden you have an ice storm, you have a mini whatever, and all the trees are gone, and it's there in vision. Or you might sell the house, and the next person might say, I'm cutting all the bushes down. I like to see no bushes, and then it's there. So that's why, even though it's not seen, it's behind a screen of trees, we want it to be compatible with the house.
Okay,
So we're talking color and the roofing material?
color roofing material.
Yes.
Is this the actual shed right here, or an example of?
This is an example of a shed that I was gonna get. I went and looked for a tool shed, and, obviously I was wrong in what I thought would be good, so. But if this was painted white and had the same roofing material as the roof, then this one would be okay.
A darker roof.
Yeah,
wonder
a asphalt shingled roof.
An
Yeah.
asphalt shingle
I mean,
roof.
They
that-
probably make a building
That's
that
what
has
we've
a-
done in the past. I mean,
Yes.
not just in color, but also in material.
You might want to see if they make one that has, an asphalt roof or the shingle roof in white, because they probably do.
Yeah, okay.
See, look
might
at your
even
other
be more
options and
affordable.
see if that's available.
I probably want to.
Other thoughts, comments? All right, why don't we do this? Why don't we just leave the application open for you to come back with some modifications or a different shed, if you'd like. We'll leave that open for you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay? So we'll just do that.
Okay? You got it.
And so we'll move on now to BAR 2313. This, I think, is the one you were referencing, Andy, regarding the material.
Okay. This application is for the addition of a hanging sign in front of a law firm. The building is on Sharp Street. You can see Main Street is to the left of your screen. The site or the building is outlined in red. Does everybody know where we are? Great. Because if you all don't, I don't either. No, I've been to the site.
We like this building.
So here you can see the building. It's the building on the right. The sign, well, there's another picture of the other building, but looking down the street, a better picture of that building maybe. And here is the proposed sign that will be above the door. Of note, you will note that the 8-foot, 6-inch clearance dimension is located there on the drawing. This is the sign that is using the HDU that some people had some question with, and HDU has been used on several signs around town that you all received in a separate email. And that concludes staff's presentation. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them, or the applicant is here.
Excellent. Hanging sign, material that we've approved in the past. Note very attractive arm there on the sign, consistent with the aesthetics of the logo. Thoughts, comments, concerns? All right. With that, is there a motion? A motion from Amanda to approve, second from Billy. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. And finally, tonight for the public hearing, BAR 2314.
Okay, this is the new chamber location. It's an old bank building. Again, you can see Main Street or Clemson Boulevard sort of in the middle with North McDuffie Street in the back. The site does have access, and you can see the building from McDuffie Street. The site is outlined in red. Everybody know where we are? Great. So the applicant is requesting to relocate the sign from the existing location on Main Street, the existing offices on Main Street, we'll see a sign of that, to this new building. So this is a new sign. It's important to note that the facade of the building where they're going to be locating the sign has a curve to it, so it's not completely flat. So this is the existing location of the Chamber of Commerce, and it is those two signs at the top of the windows there that will be located to this new building. Again, just a zoomed in detail of that sign. And this is the new bank building where the chamber will be relocating. The sign will fit, the red will be coming off, and the sign will fit on that, again, that curved white facade supported by those columns. And it will look like, well, there's an illustration of the curvature on the facade. More pictures. That's the back of the building, so that's what's seen from McDuffie. There's McDuffie. And this is the sign application and what's being proposed. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So you can see how that sits on the facade. And this is the measurements of the sign. It is to scale, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that concludes staff's presentation. The applicant is here if you have any questions.
Wonderful. With the curvature of the entrance, how are they looking to mount that? Because the sign's not going to be...
I might build a box on the back up, for lack of a better term. It'll be flat on the front, and the sign will mount that, it'll be curved on the back. So I gotta get it put up there and get a curvature of the building for a 14-foot, 8-inch length, whatever it is. And do that to my builder so he can build curved box. Because that box that's up there is curved also.
Right.
You can see it.
You can
Not
see
gonna
it.
make bigger than what's up there. That's all it is.
And the box is going to be what material and what color?
Aluminum, just like everything is black aluminum.
Okay. And Chris, the meeting sign ordinance dimensions?
Yes, sir, it does. It is compliant.
Okay. Thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns? A lot bigger sign than what was there.
And there's one at the front and the back, right? Is that right? It's the same
Yes, sir.
sign?
Well, no, that's the front.
That's the front.
That's the back right there.
Are we sure it'll fit right there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Between those two scuppers?
Chris,
It'll look bigger on the back than it is in the front.
if
Yeah.
we could move Chris to the scale presentation of the sign installed?
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's the back elevation.
That one's crooked.
Yeah.
I think the scale's a little off, but I mean, it's obviously going to be a lot bigger back there. And I think it's even going to look bigger on the front than what that's showing, but if it meets the square footage requirements of the city, then I think material and color is fine.
All right. So with that, if anything further, is there a motion? Motion from Billy, second from Bill. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir. That concludes the public hearing portion of the meeting. We'll move now to the approval of the minutes from February. Shalandra, as always, thank you very much for your attention to our proceedings. Any corrections? Hearing none. Motion to approve from Mary Lou, second from Jill. All in favor?
Aye.
Anything further tonight, folks? Hearing none. Again, Chris, welcome. We look forward to working with you. Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Bill. Second from Mary Lou. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.